Today's lesson is how to use SureTrak 3.0 to do target-based scheduling, which is a tool that most contractors and owners like, and it allows you to visually show on the SureTrak printout your original early start, early finish dates visually compared to your actual start and actual finish dates. I've handed out homework number 10A. It's a double-sided assignment, and we'll start on the back side. It says section 12.1, setting the target. So I'm not going to show this in the recorded. I'm assuming everyone listening to this has the assignment. And it says setting the target copies the planned start and planned finish dates into fields titled target start and target finish. Remember, a schedule is a database. It has an early start and an early finish and a late start and a late finish. Now you're going to tell the software the early start should be used as the target start, and it'll create a new piece of data called target start for every activity. You're telling the software to take the early finish and create a target finish date. So you may want to reread the first sentence again. The early start becomes the target start. The early finish becomes the target finish. Once you've set the target dates, you will be able to compare your progress with your original plan. We will see that in the demonstration here in the next 30 minutes. You will be able to see if you are ahead or behind schedule and by how much. And this is literally visual. You'll compare the actual bar, progress bar, to the planned bar, which is the early start, early finish bar. If you do not set the target dates, you will be unable to compare your progress with your original plan. Underline that sentence. On the front of homework 10A, it's the first thing we do, because if we don't do it, we can't go back and do it last. It is order sensitive or order specific. Setting the target date should be completed before you status the schedule for the first time, which means before you update the status with actual starts and actual finish dates. So that's the definition of setting the targets. The section 12.1 is not from the Primavera SureTrak manual that's on Blackboard Learn, is a PDF file. This is a separate manual that I have that I think is clear. It's actually a training manual from a class that I took. So this image on the back is from another source. If you look up the SureTrak reference manual on Blackboard, it's about 400 or 500 pages, and it'll talk about target dates also, but this is not a Primavera authored document on the back. Just continuing to read this, it says you use the define menu to get to the target date box, and it says display the target form. What I'd like to do is stop. We'll flip to the front side of homework 10A. And we'll come back to the back side here, and I'm going to demonstrate this live, and we'll record this. So homework 10A, step 1, open your homework number 6 SureTrak 3.0 file. Verify the completion date is as stated in homework 10. I just returned homework 10 to you today, and there was a correct completion date. Step 2, create a copy of this schedule using a different file name, and I give you a new file name. So I'm going to take the schedule I have here, and I think I've already done this, file, save as, and this says target schedule start. That's the file I'm using to start today's class, and I'm going to put a hyphen and type the word target. That's what I'm asking you to do in starting in step number 2. When we started this SureTrak scheduling software with homework 6 earlier in the semester, I've been continually reminding you, always make a new file to do the next step. So every step along the way you have an electronic step you can go back to in case you make a mistake. So I just add the word target to the end of the name. So I click OK. It already exists because I did this in the first hour, and I say fine, save it. What I also want to do is go to the File Project Overview, and I want to tell the software, because when you go to the File Open dialog box, you can always see the version number as a column when you go to File Open. So I'm going to put in here target. That way, when I go to File, Open, I see the number version column. Because the file name column, you can't make it wider, but the number version is always there, so I'm going to call it Target, so it talks back to me. And here's where I could also edit this to homework number 10A. Let's see. So now it says homework number 10A, and later it tells you how we want to name this thing Bus Shelter Target. At the bottom, we actually will call this Bus Shelter Updated. I'll leave it at this for now. So nothing's changed so far, that we've copied our original schedule, we've given it a new file name, and now in step number 2, the second line in step 2, using the target scheduling function in SureTrak as outlined on page 2, which is 12.1, setting the target, set all activity target dates as early start, early finish. Okay, I'm going to flip this over, and I'm going to do a live demonstration of what's on the middle of the page on page 2, which is the back side. So I go to the Define menu, and it gives me 5 choices, and I want the bottom choice, which is target dates. So Define target dates. The dialog box pops up. It's right here in the middle of the screen, and that's what you see on the back of Homework 10A is a screenshot of this dialog box. And it says assign early dates to target dates. There are other choices, which I'll show you here. You do not want late dates, and you do not want unleveled dates. We're not going to cover that. So early dates is the correct choice. It'll take every early start and make a target start for every activity. It'll take every early finish date for an activity and create a target finish date. It's creating 2 more pieces of data per activity. They are unique dates with a unique field in the database of a construction schedule. Then your next choice, where I have the cursor, it says apply to. The default is all activities. Before you ever do this on one of your real projects, the schedule you do this to needs to be the real deal, the schedule you're going to build the job with. If it takes you 25 team meetings to get the first schedule that you and your client will agree to, then it takes 25 meetings and it takes 5 weeks. Don't ever lightly say, oh, that's my target schedule, and define them. So on a real deal, you bid a job, you get it, you submitted a proposal schedule, yeah, whatever. Now the owner says you have 30 calendar days to produce a working schedule. In Homework 11, that sewage treatment plant scheduling spec said what? 30 calendar days. That was a monstrous sewage treatment plant, and I asked the engineer from Kiewit when he gave me that, I said, did you really get that schedule built in 30 days? It's not a chance. That took 2.5 to 3 months of back and forth with the client. They finally came up with what I call a baseline, and in SureTrak words, we call it the target schedule. This is what you're going to measure every day's activities against for progress. This has to be the final plan you think is your best shot to finish the job per the contract and on schedule. So don't ever just lightly say, oh, it's time to do the target schedule. The whole team, and I mean you and the owner and all your subs, need to agree. This is the deal. This is what we're going to measure our progress against. And if we're behind, we're going to spend money to get back on track. So you're going to use this as a management tool to say, I'm in trouble or I'm okay. So don't ever lightly make the decision at just some point, willy-nilly, this is the target schedule. And I'm warning you, it's dangerous to do this too soon. That's why I always use another version of the file in case I make a mistake. Computers have lots of hard drive storage space, and we have cloud storage, so there's no reason not to save another version. So we're going to say in this sample project I have here that this is the real deal, and we're going to tell it all activities get a target start and a target finish. Before I click on that, you'll notice the second choice here is selected activities. So let's assume you have a 1-year job and you're 6 months into the job and the owner gives you a change order, and the change order adds 1 month to your 12-month schedule. And you and your client agree it's a 1-month time extension. Well, guess what you're going to do in SureTrak? You're going to add all that extra work as new activities. But yet 6 months ago you told the software baseline everything. Now these extra 35 activities need to have a new target or baseline. So what we do then, instead of saying all activities, would go selected activities, and we'd do that after we highlighted those activities specifically. So let's say I add 25 activities to a SureTrak schedule. That's a 7-month-old project. I'd highlight them, then say selected activities, make their early dates an early start target and an early finish, turn it to a target finish. But on the original conversion and creation of target dates, it's all activities. Questions so far?
Yeah, would you assign late dates to target dates for like fabrication delivery?
The question is, would I assign late dates to things like fabrication and delivery? My management philosophy was there's no such thing as late. Your early date becomes the date I want it. Otherwise, the only place that would grant you any slack is on non-critical path activities, because when activity is critical, the dates match, right? So if I've got a critical path activity, why would I want to base it on anything but the early date? Now you may say, well, I'll use the late dates for activities with total float greater than 0. I find that dangerous. In my opinion, I think it creates the illusion that you can be late. And my management philosophy was never think late. I don't even tolerate the word to be discussed in the meeting. We're going to be on time or ahead of schedule, or we're going to beat the plan. Now that's a leadership issue. What is the leader of the team uses an attitude and a philosophy to lead the behavior of the team? That's my approach. You'll have to decide yourself how you lead your own team. So that's how I'd answer that question. I don't use late dates. To me, it's absolutely unthinkable to be late. And by contract, it will financially burn us to the ground. That's why I was so hard-nosed. You can't make any money being late. So on this one, we'll say all early dates, all activities, and I click OK. Visually, you don't see anything change. Yet the software in the database of the schedule has created a target start and a target finish based on early start and early finish dates. Now we want to go back to the front side of homework 10A, and we want to then tell the software, show me, make visible the target bars. So in the 4th sentence of step 2, you need to make the target bars visible using the menu command format. So I go to the format and I go format bars, second menu command. And as it says in the next sentence, down below the screenshot, scroll down until the target bar line is visible. So if you watch this video, you'll see that I scroll down 1 click, 2 clicks, 3 clicks, 4 clicks, and finally the target bar line is visible when I click the left mouse button 1 time on the visible box. And then it changes its appearance to look like this. And this is the screenshot that's in the middle of homework 10A on the front. You've now told the software, I want to see all target bars on all activities. So then I click OK. Now every activity has 2 bars. Every milestone has 2 milestone symbols. The software automatically makes the row height taller, thank goodness. So I have a start milestone, and then below it is a target start milestone. I have an activity A, and below it is the target bar. You'll notice the target bars are now the early start and early finish dates. We'll enter progress on this, and I'll demonstrate what happens as we enter progress. So we're going to open under View the activity form, because we're now going to, in homework 10A, you're going to rework homework 10. Every detail in 10 has to be reworked using this method in 10A. You will literally repeat the assignment, but by defining the target dates, second, turning on the target bars, then you'll completely rework homework number 10. I find there's one way you learn, and that's just to keep doing it till you get it. So it's a repetition of a prior assignment. So as it says on the step number 3, you'd want to save the file, and I'll hit save, and I'm going to go File, Save As, and I'm going to create another version, and after the word target, I'm just going to put capital U1, update number 1. So what this file name tells me, I started with the target schedule. It's a target schedule, and now I'm going to do the very first schedule update, so I want to give it a new file name. So I typed -U1, I just make the file name longer. You're allowed up to 256 characters. You have really long file names. The problem is you can't read them in the file open box. So I'll hit OK. It already exists because I did this in the first hour. And then under File Project Overview, I need to tell the software it's not the target schedule. It's U1, update number 1. In an earlier class, when we first started the software this semester, I made a really big deal about numbering and versions and why you need to talk with your employer about how you want to track the version. You and your client and your team be absolutely crystal clear how you number these things. They print in the lower left-hand corner. In homework 13, I had you edit that box if you did it correctly, so that it always shows the number and the version. Many contractors, what they'll do is they update the schedule once a week, and then they archive that. They'll not only save that file in SureTrak, they'll actually do a PDF printout so they can email it to all their subs. And you want in the footer for it to tell you what number and version it is. If you don't know the number and version, how are you going to read it later? A week later, a year later, 6 months later, when you're trying to either prepare a claim against your owner or you're trying to defend a claim against a subcontractor? Documentation that doesn't tell you what version it is, in my opinion, is completely worthless trash paper. So when your employer is really pounding on you about this hyper pickiness about numbering, versioning, file naming, believe me, they all will be picky with you. I don't care if it's M.A. Mortensen or if it's Pepper or it's the White's company. They all have standards. Each company has their own. Read the manual, follow it so you can keep your job. It's that important. That's why I overstress it to death in this class, because the companies that I visited with, their scheduling standards manuals I've read, they are extremely picky about how you will do your job for them someday, and that's less than a year from now for you. So don't take it lightly that their pickiness is the only way you and your bosses can even understand how you've archived all this information. On the ABE building next door, Ben Bungie with the White's company, they have a company-wide file naming standard for every BIM model on the entire job, so they can figure out which version is by which author on what date. Or with all these models flying around that are uploaded to a box.com account, they don't know which version they're looking at. And they've created a file naming structure just so you know which version from the plumber, the mechanical, the electrician, and the sprinkler fitter you're looking at. They use alphanumeric file names. They have published a standard for that project. Your employers will be and should be this picky on everything. File naming, version and numbering, everything. So please in your careers pay very close attention to this. It does matter, and you will be expected to do this without blinking and get it right every time. So I've updated this. I'm going to say okay. I know I spend a lot of time on some of these things, but I'm only warning you for the future. Your bosses will be after you to be this accurate. It's their expectation of your performance as a future professional. So I'm going to show you the date column just so you can see when this project was supposed to start. I have this starting next Monday of next week. So we're going to pretend we're going to go through November and do some schedule updates. I'm going to hide the date column so the recording shows what I want to teach today is what do the bars do and how do they change appearance. So every start milestone, every milestone in a SureTrak schedule has to be told has it started or not. You can't leave a milestone with 0% complete. It will update incorrectly. So this project was supposed to start on Monday, November 5. We're going to pretend we're at the end of next week. So the end of next week is what? We got 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So the end of next week is November 9. So think ahead. We're at the end of next week, Friday afternoon, November 9th. And we asked the superintendent, how'd this little 3-week project go? He says, well, Larry, it went real bad. We're supposed to start on the 5th, but unfortunately it rained all day Sunday the 4th, it rained all day Monday the 5th, rained all day Tuesday the 6th, and we finally got started on the 7th. Well, that's what happened. Okay, so you started 2 days late. I got that. It's a 5-day activity. How much work do you have left? If you started Wednesday, that means you worked all day Wednesday, all day Thursday, all day Friday. Yeah, but it's kind of rough, Larry, because there's so much mud. Even though we worked 3 days on a 5-day activity, we still need 3 more days. We need Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday of next week. So I, the scheduler, say the remaining duration. Oh, this is a start activity. I'm sorry. It's activity A I should be doing this to. Activity A started on Wednesday, the 7th. And now I have to say, well, we started on Wednesday, we work Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, but we need 3 more days next week because the mud we've been dealing with, hopefully it doesn't rain again over the weekend. So I'm going to tell the software, even though I've worked 3 days, I need 3 more days, which means I'm going to work 6 days on a 5-day activity. And you and the superintendent agree that's the reality snapshot at the end of week 1. So I tell the software that. I tell it it's end of week 1. What's the data date when I'm through Friday afternoon the 9th? From homework 10, it's actually the start of the next workday, which is Monday morning. So I now need to tell the software under Tools Schedule that the data date is no longer Monday the 5th of November. It's Monday the 12th of November. We'll work through Friday afternoon. The calendar has Saturdays and Sundays as non-work days. So I double click on November 12 and I click OK. So visually, what does this tell us about our progress? What does the screen say? I've hidden the date columns. Visually, how are we doing? Head or behind? Behind. What did it do to the finish milestone? How does it line up with the original finish milestone? It's behind also. So look at this finish milestone. It's projected to be way behind. And I do have the horizontal time scale stretched out a lot so that weekends, which are right here, show no activity on the original. The original schedule, it was Monday through Friday, Monday through Friday, Monday through Friday. Just coincidentally, I've got those as 3 consecutive weeks with the weekends with no activities. Now the progress bar goes right through the weekend. So what does it look like? How does the end of A compare to the planned end of A? We're way behind. So let's update this one more fictitious week. So we go from the 9th plus 7 would be the 16th. Well, did you finish activity A in those 3 days like you thought you would? So you're at the 16th of November. Did you finish it on the 14th like you thought you would? The prior Friday you said, I need 3 more days. I need Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. The good news is you worked on it Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and yeah, it took you all 3 days, and the 14th is the real completion date. So I click OK. Well, fine. What happened to activity B that goes right after? Did activity B start the next day? Did activity B start on Thursday morning, the 15th? Yes, boss, we started on Thursday morning, the 15th, because we finished that activity Wednesday afternoon. So you click on November 15th with a double click, and you say OK. All right. Now activity B is now worked 2 days. You know it's planned as 5 days. And the superintendent, you say to him, all right, can you finish it in 3 more days? Can you even finish it in the 5 days we originally planned? And he says, we'll try. So we'll say my remaining duration is 3. So I changed the 5 to a 3. Same thing you learned to do in homework number 10. So I say, okay. Well, We're now through Friday afternoon, the 16th. So I go to Tools, Schedule. I need to change the data date. Do I make it the 16th? I make it the following Monday, the 19th. With me again. Data dates are at the beginning of the work shift, so I make it the 19th, and I say OK. All right, there. 2 weeks into the job, that's how far behind we are. Let me tell you how a real client used this on a $95 million job. In the summer of 06 and 07, the project that Dr. Jarrett and I worked with Iowa DOT to write that 3-page scheduling spec, there were 2 SureTrak schedules on the entire I-235 from downtown Des Moines. There was from the river bridge on the Des Moines River west and from the bridge east. 2 schedulers, one my past student, one graduated before I got here. 2 independent SureTrak schedules, all show target bars, and it was all done using CPM logic because linear scheduling wouldn't work. There were too much complex logic to use linear scheduling. Bob Uni, who is the District 1 construction engineer for all of District 1, the office is conveniently southwest of the Ames Hy-Vee store. It's down there on 5th Street. It's not in the headquarters. He managed all District 1 construction. They handed him 2 printouts, 11 by 17, in an owner's meeting every other Tuesday, and he'd go down with his finger and look for every progress bar that was to the right of the yellow target bar. They said, all right, talk to me about these things that are behind schedule. And in 15 minutes, we reviewed 2 11 by 17 printouts on a $95 million job in an owner's meeting. He thought this is the greatest thing he had ever seen, ever. And it was the first project in DOT history to go CPM. So when Dr. Jarrett and I happened to write that little short 3-page scheduling spec. What actually led that off is I did a 2-hour seminar to all the DOT staff on how to read these printouts. None of them had CPM education because none of the inspectors had a Con E degree or any SureTrak experience. So the owner could read these. We actually trained the owner to read these in a 2-hour training session. That was part of our consulting agreement with Iowa DOT, was to train their staff to read them. And then we met with the 2 schedulers, with the 2 companies, and we walked through with them and we established the numbering and version numbers and file naming protocols for the entire job. It's a big deal. What's the number and the version that prints in the lower left-hand corner? We actually discussed it, wrote it down, and put it in the meeting minutes so we could read the printouts. And they gave us a printout every other Tuesday based on the prior Friday's work or Saturdays, every other Tuesday for 2 years. That's what an owner's meeting is about. How are you doing? How are we, guess, the baseline, and are you ahead or behind? So this is real-world scheduling methods that makes anything for the client, hey, you're ahead or you're behind. We'll just look at the printout. Don't look at the dates. Look at the bars. Compare the actual progress to the yellow target. The great news on that project is the contractor wanted the 1-month early completion bonus. The contractor originally scheduled the job to complete 1 month ahead of schedule. The contractor finished it to him on time, but to the owner 1 month ahead, and they paid them $2.1 million early completion bonus, $70,000 a day for 30 calendar days. That's what it's all about. In a capitalistic entrepreneurial society, that was a success. And the SureTrak schedules literally showed that, and we paid 2 grad students that went out and took almost 1,000 photographs and verified every detail on those schedule updates before that bonus check was written. And there was not one activity that didn't meet the bonus requirements, period. But we checked it, and it took us lots of man hours with our 2 grad students to verify against the target schedules they submitted and their claim for the $2.1 million. We had to certify for DOT they earned the $2.1 million in a written report. It's a lot of money. But this is the method that we used. It's that simple. The good news is they earned every dime because every activity that was supposed to be done, without exception, was finished. A great success in Iowa road building. A great success in applying CPM to heavy highway in the state of Iowa, the first time ever. So let's go forward 1 more week, and we're going to be later, and we're going to say, well, we thought activity B would finish on the 21st, and we're going to say, nope, sorry, didn't work. It ran up against Thanksgiving. Is Thanksgiving the 22nd this year?
Yeah.
Well, they didn't get it done the 21st, and no one worked the 22nd or the 23rd or the 24th or the 25th, so they finished it on the 26th. That's just life in the fast lane when everyone takes a 4-day weekend, right? So that's when we finished it. Ouch. Well, what happened here? Activity C, therefore, start when? The Tuesday after Thanksgiving. If B finished on Monday the 26th, activity C starts on Tuesday the 27th. It's a 5-day activity. You're saying to yourself, all right, we're really behind schedule. We started on Tuesday. We had 5 days to get it done. How many more days is it going to take? Sorry, boss, it's going to take 4 more days. Okay, that's fine. We start on Tuesday. It takes 4. So we have to go back up here to our tools and our schedule. We've got to move the day-to-date 1 more week from the 19th to the 26th. We'll move it 1 more week. So how are we doing? We're really behind, aren't we? This is target-based scheduling. Visually points out progress versus plan. The plan are the target bars. The target bars are based on early start, early finish. It's that simple. And it continually redraws it and it shows you how well you're doing or, oh my goodness, how poorly you're doing time-wise. Don't even need to see the date columns. How are we doing? Terrible. I don't think there's enough overtime or money left in the world. I think it's time to come up with a drop back and punt plan and apologize to the owner and ask for a time extension due to inclement weather. What do you think? Probably not going to happen, right? This is target-based scheduling.